Hello, and welcome to Principles of Microeconomics. This is Module 2.2c, and we will continue our discussion of elasticities. Here we will introduce two new elasticities that we think about in microeconomics: income elasticity of demand and cross-price elasticity of demand. Remember, when we have changes in demand, this can come from changes in consumers' income, as well as changes in the price of related goods. So income elasticity of demand is going to calculate the quantity change in demand when we have a change in the consumer's income. For cross-price elasticity of demand, this will tell us by how much does quantity demanded change for good A if we have a price change in good B. Remember, related goods can be either complements or substitutes, and it tells us that if these goods are related, good A and good B, then a price change in one will result in a quantity demanded change in the other. We'll explain in further detail in a few minutes. Let's start off first with income elasticity of demand. So we know that if we have more money, we tend to want to buy more goods. Well, this is true if it's a normal good. And remember, we also have inferior goods, where with higher income, we actually demand less of a good. So with income elasticity of demand, we want to calculate by how much does quantity demanded change when there is a change in the income. Here, as you can see, we will use a formula similar to the price elasticity of demand formula that we had in the last video, where we are looking at the change in the quantity, but now compared to the change in income. So that our income elasticity of demand will be the change in the quantity demanded divided by the change in income. Our formula looks very similar to the elasticity of demand formula, where we are looking at Q2 minus Q1 divided by Q2 plus Q1 divided by 2 as our numerator. And this will be divided now by income 2 minus income 1 divided by income 2 plus income 1 divided by 2. So this is going to give us the change in quantity demanded, and this will be divided by the change in income. So let's work through an example. Let's assume that the typical 23-year-old makes $45,000 a year, and he consumes Magic Hat beer on a regular basis. When he consumes Magic Hats, he's consuming about 5 Magic Hats a month. Now we want to know what happens with his consumption of Magic Hat beer if his income rises to $50,000 a year. And now he's going to consume 9 Magic Hats a month. So again, you can pause the video here, try to work this out yourselves, and come back and we can work on the answers and the explanation together. So with this information, we want to calculate by how much does his demand for Magic Hats change when his income rises from $45,000 to $50,000. So remember, we're looking at the change in the quantity divided by the change in the income. Q1 is going to be 5 Magic Hats. Q2 is going to be 9 Magic Hats. Income 1 is $45,000 per year, and income 2 is $50,000 per year. So now all we have to do is plug in our numbers into the right place. So the change in quantity is going to be 9 minus 5 divided by 9 plus 5 divided by 2 gives us a change in quantity demanded of 0.571. Our change in income will then be 50,000 minus 45,000 divided by 50,000 plus 45,000 divided by 2, or a change in income of 0.105. We take the change in quantity divided by the change in the income, and this tells us that our income elasticity is 5.43. Since this is a positive number, this tells us that as the income rises, his demand is also rising. So with a positive income elasticity of demand, this is going to tell us that Magic Hat beer is a normal good. You consume more with more income. Now, if the income elasticity of demand, on the other hand, was negative, this is telling us with a rise in income, your demand is falling. So a negative income elasticity of demand tells us that we are talking about an inferior good. So therefore, with a rise in income for the 23-year-old, he is consuming more Magic Hats per month, and therefore this beer is a normal good for him. Okay, now let's work on cross-price elasticity of demand. Remember, we know that the demand for one good will change when the price of a related good changes. Remember, we have substitutes and complements. For substitutes, a consumer will swap their consumption of one good for another when the price of one of the goods rises. For complements, these goods are consumed simultaneously. So if the price of one good rises, the demand for the other good will fall. Okay, so how do we calculate this? Well, we're looking at specifically here the change in quantity demanded for good A divided by the change in the price of good B. Okay, so the change in quantity demanded of good A will be quantity 2 for good A minus quantity 1 for good A divided by quantity 2A plus quantity 1A divided by 2. And this will all be divided by the change in the price of good B. So P2 for good B minus P1 for good B divided by P2 for good B plus P1 for good B divided by 2. So we take the change in the quantity of good A divided by the change in the price of good B, and this will be able to tell us by how much does quantity demanded for good A change when there is a change in the price of good B. Let's work through an example, so this will be a little bit clearer. Okay, so once again, here we're talking about the market for beer and the market for beer in general. We know that beer and pretzels are consumed simultaneously. These are complements. Many people like to eat pretzels when they drink beer. So we want to know if the price of pretzels changes, how does demand for beer change? So here we see that the price of pretzels falls from $4 to $3, and the consumption of beer rises from 100 units to 120 units. So when we're calculating the cross-price elasticity of demand for beer, we're looking at the change in quantity demanded for beer divided by the change in the price for pretzels. Okay. Here, quantity 1 is going to be 100. Quantity 2 of beer is going to be 120. Price 1 of pretzels is going to be $4. And price 2 of pretzels is going to be $3. So let's plug in our numbers and calculate cross-price elasticity. Okay, so change in quantity will be 120 minus 100 divided by 120 plus 100 divided by 2. Change in quantity of 0.182. Change in the price of pretzels, 3 minus 4 divided by 3 plus 4 divided by 2 will give us negative 0.287. Okay, so then we take the change in the quantity of beer divided by the change in the price of pretzels, and this gives us a cross-price elasticity of demand of negative 0.636. So what does this tell us? If the cross-price elasticity of demand is negative, this is going to tell us that the two goods are related as complements. So if the price of one good rises, the demand for the other falls. If the price of one good falls, the demand for the other good rises. On the other hand, if the cross-price elasticity of demand is positive, then the goods are substitutes. Thank you so much for joining me for these examples in income elasticity of demand and cross-price elasticity of demand. This is Module 2.2C.